Hello everybody and welcome back to another instructional video on JSE Data Foundry. So today I'm back in the subscriptions module and I'm going to talk to you about managing FTP access tokens. So you should have seen the video on managing HTTP or normal access tokens. And the reason why this is split is because FTP access tokens and connecting to FTP is a little bit special. You should have seen my video on how to connect to sFTPs via a tool called WinSCP. If you haven't, please have a watch. But yeah, so first up, I'm going to start with my subscriptions, and I've prepared a JSON FTP file download, and there's a default token already created. So immediately off the bat, you can see that things look a little bit different. So an access token for FTP controls both FTPs and sFTP. So it is a magical access token. It can deal with sFTPs, as I like to call it. These are two distinctly different protocols, but from an FTP point of view, we've merged them into one. Okay, so I've selected the default access token here. And as before, you'll notice that there's an attribute that you can switch it on and off, just like on any other access token. You can rename it. You can give it a description. So the basic things are there to manage it. You can also give it an expiry token. So this we've all discussed before, and you can give it a usage limit. Cool. Everything's there. And you can see the current usage of this token. You see also, as before, we've got options for pre-paging, flattened, and then things get a little bit different. We've got three new options here. The first one is FTPs, the second one is sFTP, and they both defaulted to yes. And by switching these on, we are making this access token empower you to take this particular product over both FTPs and sFTP channels. So let's for a moment assume that you do not want FTPs to be utilized. It's as simple as switching it off. If you switch off sFTP and FTPs, you've essentially disabled the token because that is the main functionality of this token. So if you click on sFTPs off, you'll notice that you've effectively up here disabled the token. Enabling it does not automatically enable any of the protocols. So again, at least one of these needs to be on. And what you'll notice the moment you switch on any one of these two, you get the option for WinSCP integration. So WinSCP integration, what is this about? You do not need to use it, but WinSCP is the client that we recommend our clients use to download FTP content. What makes WinSCP useful for us is that it provides integration into the web browser itself. So that means that you can access or download a file from an hyperlink, essentially, and WinSCP will magically intercept that hyperlink and download the file for you using its functionality. So what happens when I switch this switch on? You'll notice that I immediately get an FTPs URL, which is using a different protocol, not HTTP, not FTP, but rather WinSCP-FTPES. And this is going to allow you to download this file using a web browser. Now, you don't need to use a web browser, and it's probably not the most effective way to do it. It's fine if you want to download one file, but if you want to download quite a few files, WinSCP itself, the client, is really the way to go. But again, what happens now in this context, if we switch on sFTP, you'll notice that we also have a WinSCP sFTP URL for you to use. And it's right here. You can copy it to the clipboard as before, or probably the best and simplest way is to log in with WinSCP itself. So again, the new functionality here, which is very important, is enabling either FTPs or sFTP or both of them. Remember, if you switch them both off, you've effectively disabled the access token. And then if you have one or both of them on, you can also switch on WinSCP integration, which means you now have URLs. And what's important about these URLs is if you want to be able to download your files via FTP from your My Feed, it's important to have these URLs available because My Feed is actually dependent on providing a URL to download the files. And that brings us to the last parameter, in this case, enabling this access token for My Feed. So you'll notice that if I switch off WinSCP integration, there is no such option. And that makes sense because if you don't switch it on, there's no URL to put into My Feed. And the last thing you can then simply do, if you want this information to be surfaced on your feed, is to switch on My Feed. And at this point, save. So at a high level, this is the most important differences between a normal access token and an FTP token. And I know what you're saying. There's all sorts of stuff down here that I haven't discussed. I promise you I'll get back to that in a minute. But for now, let's re-enable this token, save it. And now I'm going to go directly to WinSCP and minimize my browser. And in the background, WinSCP is open already. Right, so you should be comfortable with WinSCP by now. Now, for the purposes of this video, I can use either FTPS or sFTP. Functionally, they are no different from a front-end point of view. So I'm going to choose FTPS. You can see it's logging in. And immediately, what you can see is your file called myinstrumentstatisticshistory.json. Cool. This is an FTP client, so basically, double-clicking it will download the file, and there you have it. There's your JSON data opened up in a text file for you. So that really is it. It's really simple. For a minute, I'm going to go now back here and just show you how you can do the same thing by running it from the front end. So if I click on this run URL, what's practically going to happen is that it's going to execute the WinSCP connection string down here, or the URL, and let's have a look at what that does. You'll immediately notice that Chrome, my browser, is now saying, would you like to open this in WinSCP? And this is the integration that I was talking about. So by clicking the link, WinSCP is going to now ask you for your username and password. I'm just going to put my password in. And there you have it. I have an ad hoc session opened up, which has got the file myInstrumentStatisticsHistory opened up by default. I'm going to go ahead and close that down. So that's really awesome. Okay, well, let's move on. There's some more cool stuff here to show you. First thing I'm going to do is go back here and close my session. So if we look at this access token, it does have 3 extra parameters which are interesting and important for us to look at. The first one that I want to discuss is the path. So if you think about an FTP file, it's always in the context of some folder structure. And right now, as you can see from these URLs, the file name is simply on the root of your FTP structure. So let's imagine a scenario where you would like this product and all of its different formats and versions of it to live in a folder called My Instrument Statistics History. Well, all you have to do is add that to your path. Immediately, what you'll notice is that the URLs have changed and they are now / My Instrument Statistics History and then the actual file name. Now, you don't have to call it exactly this. You can just call it My Instrument Statistics. It's completely up to you. So what I'm going to do now is save this access token and then go back to WinSCP and see how that looks. I'm starting up WinSCP as before. I'm going to go in via FTPS, and there you have it. On the left hand side you can see a folder. This is a virtual folder, obviously. It's called My Instrument Statistics. If I click on it, I see my product file, and I can now double click it as before to open it up. So this is useful because it allows you to create a little bit of order in how you structure your FTP site access. So how would this work if we have more than one product? Let's go and have a look quickly. So I'm going to go back in. And I've prepared for you guys my instrument statistics history version 2. So this is just a demonstration. And what I have here is a CSV file over FTP, and there's a default token created, and I'm going to enable it right now. And as before, this is available over all the channels with SCP. I'll put it in my feed. It's not really important. And then what I'm going to do is take this file and also put it into a virtual folder called My Instrument Statistics without the history. So what am I doing? I am now creating two different products. I'm going to save that. Two different products, version 2 of the same product. It's physically a different product. The file name is indicating a different name. It's a different output format, but I'm putting it in the same virtual folder called My Instrument Statistics. So I'm enforcing essentially a folder structure that works for me. So let's go and test that out. I'm going to go back to an SCP, open up a new session, and there you have it. I've got one folder with two products in it. Two products from two different standard products in Data Foundry. And that's just awesome. And again, this new product comes to me very fast. I can open it right from WinSCP. Right, so let's take this a step further. Let's go back. And on this product, I have another JSON FTP delivered token, which I'm going to enable. And in this case, I'm going to put this file in a development folder for whatever reason. I'm just simulating scenarios where I want my development team to look at this file in a specific folder. And yeah, I'm going to save it. Again, switching back to WinSCP, I'm going to close my connection. By the way, that's important because you need to refresh. And I did something wrong. Let's go back, have a look. I don't think I saved this file. You have to save your access token, so that's important. Let's close the connection. And there you have it. So now I have a development folder with one JSON file in it, and I have a My Instrument Statistics folder with two files in it. Isn't that cool? And this is essentially how you can manage your folder structure. So what I haven't shown you yet is how to actually create a FTP access token. Now, it's very similar to what you're used to by now. So what I'm going to do for you, for this scenario, I'm first going to just remember, I called it development. So I'm going to put another file in the development folder, and it's going to be an XML file. And you can see that I can go to XML format, FTP file, and it's the same as before, guys. You just subscribe. I suppose the real difference here is you cannot add any more subscriptions. So FTP access tokens, you can only have one of those. It's not possible for technical reasons that I'll go into later if you guys want to, but for technical reasons, FTP can only have one access token. So that is a limitation. Right, so let's now take this file, which is an XML format, and also place it in the development folder and see if that works out for us. Everything else is enabled to my liking. Yeah, that's fine. Let's go. Again, I must stress, you must close your connection before you look for updates to the folder structures. So I've reconnected, and I'm now expecting and finding an XML file in the development folder, as well as the previous two still in the My Instrument Statistics folder. So that's awesome. And I can download this XML file as before. And there you have it, XML in all its prettiness. Cool. Okay, so let's have a look at what's left. So the last two things, which I'm actually not going to discuss in this video, I'll make it the topic of a specialized video, is to actually change the file name and the so-called override file name. As it stands, if you're happy with the name of the file, you don't really need to concern yourself with this, but look out for a video coming to you soon where I explain the details of overriding file name and the thing called override file name, which is an interesting concept and needs some time to discuss. But yes, in summary, an FTP access token is special in the sense that it allows access to both FTPs protocol and sFTP protocol. These can be switched on independently here. If you switch both off, you've effectively disabled your product. And if you want to switch it on, it's as simple as clicking on it. To have URLs to give you access to these files via your subscriptions, you need to switch on WinSCP integration here, which will present you with URLs for both protocols. If you want those links to be sent to you in your subscription, as before, simply switch on My Feed. And that's it. It's really as simple as that. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time.